Hey, sports fans, PB&C Sports Chaos, we're coming at you. It's the eve of 9/11, folks. It's why I'm wearing my red bandana. Boston College is having their red bandana game tomorrow at UMass, PB. And it's famous for Wells Crowder, the kid from BC that was a rugby player, I believe, went into the towers down in New York City and rescued a lot of people before he passed away. So we're honoring Wells Crowder with the red bandana. They do this every year at Boston College. I'm very proud to wear the red bandana. By the way, I got this bandana at a BC game one time. PB, I see you drinking a beer there. What do you got tonight, sir?
Yeah, I see. Funky Buddha is the brewery, and it's an IPA called Hop Gun IPA, right in Fort Lauderdale, 7%. It's one of the good ones down here.
Woo! I like the Funky Medina, but that's not for beer. It's something else. But anyways, I got the Rick Tater again tonight because Rick and me are BC fans. We go every year. We're honoring Wells tonight. All right. Hey, we're going to talk about last night's game in a minute. We're going to do some college rundowns. You got a couple trades in your fantasy you wanted me to hear out. First of all, I got a little 2-minute drill real quick. Breaking news. Red Sox cannot get over this COVID bug. Now Chris Sale has the COVID virus. He's out for 10 days. He's the 10th regular player to have it for them, 20 in the organization. It's unbelievable. By the way, speaking of bad things that happened to the Red Sox, they played Labor Day against your Tampa Bay Rays. They set baseball back 30 years. Get this, PB. First of all, the Red Sox had one play where they gave up 4 runs with no hit. A 4-base error, which is a Little League Grand Slam, apparently. Not only did that happen, there was 21 runs scored in the game. Tampa won, 36 hits, 24 left on base. What are they doing nowadays? I have no idea. Hey, we've been giving a hard time to the Red Sox, but you know what? The Yankees, we thought were starting to smoke a little bit. They are smoking, like as in sucking smoking. They won 13 in a row. Now they've lost 10 out of 12. They've fallen behind the Red Sox. And by the way, Toronto is on the doorstep of passing the Yankees. We love it here in New England. Go ahead, New York, keep sucking. By the way, PB, I predict right now, if Toronto makes it to the playoffs and overtakes the Yankees, Vlad Jr. should be the MVP. He's having an awesome year. Do you agree?
Can make a good argument for that for sure.
Oh, my God. Hey, there was some good news for the Yankees this week. Derek Jeter winning the Hall of Fame last Wednesday. Unusual ceremonies, usually in July. They had this year because of COVID in September. Good for him. By the way, speaking of the Hall of Fame, you're going to like this, PB. As a Bruins fan, Peter McNabb just nominated the other day. It's going in at 2021 Hall of Fame inductee. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I love watching McNabb. I don't know. I didn't think he was going to be Hall of Fame worthy, but I guess if you look back at his numbers, there's
I'm
reason.
with you, but he was a sniper back then. I mean, he was a short 35-year goal scorer, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Good for him.
Hey, one last thing before we get on to some football news. The U.S. Open. I don't know if anybody's watching this stuff. I watched a little bit of tennis. But these two young ladies, the one from Canada, Leila Fernandez, 19-year-old, she is facing the 18-year-old from Britain, Emma Raducanu, I believe is how you say it. Both of them were, one was a 201 odds, the other one was 100 to 1 odds to make the finals and win. Neither one of them ranked going into this thing. One of them beat 5 ranked players, the other one beat 3. They're playing the finals down in Flushing Meadows tomorrow. I think it's awesome. We'd like to see that. Good for the girls. Hey, by the way, the Joker, you know who he is, right?
Yeah, Djokovic.
He's going for the first calendar year Grand Slam since 1969. Do you think he pulls it off?
He looks awesome. I mean, I have seen some of the highlights. I did watch a few matches, but not with him, just kind of randomly on like a Sunday morning, Saturday morning, whatever. But yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't.
No, I just saw he just won a semifinal, so he's definitely in the finals. All right, little football news. TJ Watt, the Pittsburgh Steelers, some people consider him one of the top 3 or 4 best defensive players in the league. He signed his contract extension. He will now play. He's been sitting out the whole season so far, $112 million. Apparently, TJ said enough is enough to his agent. Just take the money, whatever they're offering, we're going to do it. And that's it. He overruled his agent. Good for TJ. He's playing football again. We'll see. By the way, another team in the AFC North, not so lucky. Pittsburgh Steelers. Baltimore Ravens, excuse me. Another week, another running back. Gus Edwards, right? The guy that's number 2, number 3. He was supposed to be 1 or 2, depending on what you think about where he was after J.K. Dobbins went down. He's out now. PB, do they have a problem in Baltimore?
Yeah, they do. I was listening to some analysts saying they don't have a problem because of Lamar, but how much workload can you put on this guy? I mean, if you don't have a running game, that's going to take away from your passing game. The guy can't throw the ball to begin with. His receivers are also hurt. Is he gonna run? People are talking about him being one of the leading rushers in the NFL this year, which may still happen, but at some point that's going to break down. By the way, 2 things. First of all, they signed Le'Veon Bell to be on the practice squad. Now he's been elevated. They signed Devontae Freedom to the practice squad. He's been elevated. And now they signed Latavius Murray, who I happen to like. Latavius Murray, I believe he's still got some miles left in him. I don't know about the other 2 guys. Yeah. One of those 3 could be a pretty good productive player for them. Do you agree? Yeah, they could. And they're talking about the other guy that was supposed to, was it Taysom Williams, was it? That's supposed to be, was the next man up. Like that was actually going through camp and not someone that's just coming into the offense and learning the playbook and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know much about him, but we'll see.
There are a lot of hardcore people that do say he might be the guy. Hey, by the way, they also lost the cornerback, Marcus Peters. 4 of these guys went down in practice on the practice facility. So, PB, I got to ask you a question. Is there a problem with the practice field potentially?
I mean, they're all ACL injuries too. So
yes.
Yeah, maybe they should take a look at the field.
It's like last year's 49ers, right? Crazy. All right. Before we move on to the NFL talk from last night, the Bucs played the Cowboys. A nice game. I thought the Bucs won that one. We'll talk about that momentarily. But give us a little bit of your fantasy news.
Oh, the trade propositions?
Your dynasty league trade propositions. Let me grade them out. Let the wizard grade them out.
Well, this is dynasty, but this is not, what do you call it? It's not out of my league. It's just some people that are in my dynasty league that are in other leagues, and they like our trade talk. So what we want to do is just put these out there, get your opinion, Z, and it'd be fun to get some comments too, right? Our fans, just in general, you like fantasy football and you like football. What would you do in these cases? So again, these are for dynasty leagues, but let me look here. So the first one is Joe Mixon for Nakeem Hines, Daniel Jones, and a 2024 second round pick.
Nah, Joe Mixon, keep him. He's only in his 3rd year in this league. He's going to get even better. Trust me. Scrap the other 3.
Right. Okay. How about this one? Aaron Rodgers and a 2023 third round pick for Matt Ryan, a 2022 first, a 2023 second, and a 2024 second. So I'll say that again. Aaron Rodgers plus a 2023 third for Matt Ryan, a 2022 first, a 2023 second, and a 2024 second.
I like the draft picks that you're going to get out of the second one when you get Matty Ice. Matty Ice is still a very productive player, younger than Aaron Rodgers, and with the right team, he will still prosper. So I would take that trade. I would get Matty Ice if I could get him. And those draft picks.
And those draft picks, yeah. I tend to agree with that too. The reason why this person did this, though, is because he also traded for Devontae Adams, and he wanted to put that Adams-Rodgers hookup on his team. So he got Devontae Adams and a 2024 third-round pick. This is the same guy who got Rodgers. But what he gave away for that was Justin Jefferson and a 2024 first-round pick.
So basically, he gave away to win for 1 year, this year only, and that's it. He's done. You'll never hear from that guy again.
After this year, Devontae Adams, that's probably safe, right? And he traded a first for a third. He's getting a third, and he gave away a first. So I like the Jefferson in the first round pick over Adams in the third round.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
would agree with that.
Yeah.
So,
right.
but you're right. I mean, his comment was, now I have a team that Fantasy Pros is ranking number 1 out of the 12 teams in his league.
So
But
great. You're a 1 year wonder.
Yeah. So yeah,
All right.
essentially what it could be. So it might not be the best move for Dynasty, but it's a good move to try to win this year.
That's what it is. All right. Any more? We're good?
Yeah, we're good for now.
Let's talk about last night. Last night was a pretty good game. I know some of our fans that are on our little text trail said sloppy, messy, whatever. 31-29 game with a ton of offense in the first game of the season. It's one of the best opening night games I've seen in the last 10 years for sure. Cowboys led a couple times in this game. They had chances. They gave away 7 points in the first half. 2 missed field goals and a missed extra point. By the way, one of those missed field goals was 60 yards. You say, well, that's a 60-yarder, Z. Well, it was on 4th and 22 because of stupid penalties. It was 4th and 10. It's a 52-yarder. They easily get that. So could have been a different game. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's nice to see Brady connecting that quickly in the year. Usually it takes him a while to get going, right? September's he's figuring stuff out still. So I think
4 TDs
and 379 yards passing. I think a lot of that has to do with him just really, going through the same team for 2 years now and basically having all of his offensive players back. I think that helps them. And, there was a time in New England when he was going through wide receiver carousel and, he had to develop new relationships, it seemed like almost every year with receivers. So I like it. I mean, Tom Brady could throw for, 45 to 50 touchdowns this year. If he keeps this up, he's got the team to do it. That offense is crazy. What I was surprised with, though, more than anything in that game was the Dallas Cowboys offense. Especially against a defense like the Tampa Bay Bucks, who some people saying is one of the best defenses in the NFL. So they come out and, even on their opening drive, they came down and
yes.
I don't think they scored on it, but they came down and they moved the football. They looked good. Dak looked good. Cooper looked awesome. CeeDee Lamb looked really good. Gallup made some nice grabs. Jowen even had a couple nice catches. I mean, the biggest disappointing offense was probably Zeke.
The whole running game was horrible. And if they can't run the ball, they'll be in trouble later on.
They could be. But you figure if a team is that one-dimensional, like they were last night, that Tampa Bay would have pounced all over that. But they didn't. They didn't take advantage of that one-dimensional nature of the game.
So Tampa Bay was down 1 DB, and then they lost one of their starters in the first quarter. So I bet they played a little conservative because they had 2 backups playing. We'll see. I agree with you. And by the way, they did not seem to blitz that much. I was surprised by that. They did not blitz that much. I would have figured they would have blitzed more. What I was surprised pleasantly by, Antonio Brown and Gronkowski. They showed up big time. AB looked like he hadn't missed a beat. It looked like, Pittsburgh Steelers 2015 AB, for crying out loud. It was unbelievable. Mike Evans, by the way, I don't think had a catch in that game. So imagine if he starts getting the ball a little bit. That was unbelievable. Tampa Bay, I think they were a little bit conservative, believe it or not, even though Brady had 4 touchdowns and they didn't really do well on defense. But we'll see. But you're right. Cowboys showed up on offense. They had 4 turnovers, too, the Cowboys, and they still couldn't win that game. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Petey, we're going to move on to college football here. We're going to talk a little college football. Last week was a great weekend for college football. We had some really good games we talked about. By the way, the SEC, man, Alabama, I thought you picked Miami. I mean, you picked Alabama. I didn't think that they could cover what was a 19.5-point spread against Miami. They crucified the Canes. The kid, Bryce Young, looked like he was been starting for 3 years in Alabama. The SEC is going to run away with that thing. Don't you agree?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Bryce Young even moved ahead of Spencer Rattler in Vegas in terms of odds for the Heisman, not based on that performance alone. And Rattler's obviously subpar performance, and Oklahoma barely winning. But it was a great first week for sure. And yeah, Bama looks like they're going to be unbeatable this year. They really do.
By the way, for those who thought Georgia, and we have one of our regulars, G Money, said Georgia's going to win the title. They won barely 10-3 against Clemson. By the way, they did not score a touchdown. It was an interception for the return for a touchdown. So it was a 3-3 offensive game. And look at the numbers here, PB. By the way, first downs, 15-14. Yards, 256 to 180. Time of possession, 31-29. Georgia did not dominate the game. I don't know what you think of G Money. I don't even know how they jumped to number 2 in the country. They look pathetic. Both those teams look pathetic. I actually thought Cincinnati, which I think you actually have as one of your wild cards, right?
Yeah, well, I picked Iowa State as my fourth team, but I said Cincinnati's going to be right there too. I didn't pick them necessarily, but I mentioned them.
Yeah, they look strong, man. I have to agree with you on that one. All right, let's move on. We're going to do some picks in a moment. I saw a sign, though, in the Clemson game, which is really fitting. It was ABC, ACC, all be cupcakes. By the way, let's think about this. Listen to this. I got these right here. ACC, Clemson, obviously, we talked about that. They lost to Georgia. Miami lost to Alabama, right? Who else? They all.
North Carolina. North
Carolina lost to Virginia Tech. That was an upset. Georgia Tech lost to Northern Illinois, who's a 1AA school, for crying out loud. Duke lost to Charlotte, another 1AA school. What the heck? Horrible football. Just horrible football in the ACC. At least my Boston College team romped last week 51-0. Didn't cover the points, though, unfortunately. Let's talk some picks. You ready to do some picks?
Yeah. Well, let's get on to our pick. We're picking 4, right?
Hey, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, PB set a record last week. He went 3-1. That makes him, for the first time ever in his college predictions, over 500 for the season so far.
Hey, you were 1-3. So
I know it.
I'm already 2 games up. The only game that killed me was that Georgia, the Clemson Georgia game. I didn't think Georgia would beat them, but
I didn't either. All right. Let's go with the first game I got on our agenda. Washington goes to the Big House. The Washington Huskies, who also lost to a 1AA school last week, unbelievably, yeah. And now they're out of the rankings. They play Michigan in the Big House. Michigan's a 6.5-point favorite. Who do you like there?
Yeah, and that's the big question was Washington's loss to Montana like a wake-up call? Right? Or is it something that's just going to kind of deflate them a little bit? But it's at Michigan. It's at the Big House. 6.5's not a ton of points to give up. It's a touchdown, right? So I'm going to take Michigan in this game.
Ooh, you are. You know what? I actually, until Michigan shows me otherwise, and by the way, this game is in prime time, so it's not like Washington has to play a 12 o'clock game like another school we'll talk about in a moment from the West Coast. So I like Washington to cover. I think they use the points they cover. By the way, our boy G Money, he's with you, so be careful. He picked Michigan as well.
What did he go last week, by the way?
1-3 as well.
All right. So you gotta listen to PB, folks. Gotta listen to PB.
Oregon, the other West Coast team, goes 2 time zones to play Ohio State at noon. Ohio State now number 3 in the country. It's a 14.5-point spread. What do you think? By the way, Kevin Thibodeau, who's the number 1 ranked prospect in the NFL draft, the defensive end from Oregon, probably won't play.
Yeah, this is a tough one to pick, really. I mean, Ohio State did Ohio State things when they went into Minnesota. They scored 45 points. They won pretty handily by 14. Oregon, they squeaked one out, really, against Fresno. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence in that. It is in Ohio State. 14.5 just sounds like that, especially that half a point. Sounds like a sucker bet, right? Sounds like they want you to bet Oregon and they want you to lean in with Oregon. But Ohio State's good. I mean, it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm gonna take Ohio State. I might regret it because they could be up by 20 or 21 and Oregon scores a touchdown late and covers. So if they cover, that's probably how they're going to cover. I don't think this is going to be one of those 24, 31 point victories for Ohio State. So I'm going to stick with Ohio State, the clear favorite there.
Maybe I'm with you. I think Oregon having to play at 12, which is like a 10 o'clock game their time. I don't see it happening. By the way, Anthony Brown is the starting quarterback for Oregon. He was a BC guy. We didn't like him. We got rid of him. He went out to Oregon. So good luck. All right. By the way, G Money happens to like Oregon in that game. He usually goes for Ohio State. He's going with Oregon. Go figure.
All right.
Hey, Iowa, you mentioned earlier, Iowa goes to Ames. Iowa State is the game day show for ESPN. Iowa State's a 4.5-point favorite. Who do you like here?
That's a tough one. You know, I'm big on Iowa State. I was a little disappointed last week, and they played Northern Iowa, and they barely won. And it was at home. They won 16-10, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Iowa just blew out Indiana. Sorry, Rick P. But just destroyed them 34-6. So, you know, Iowa to me seems like a team that right now is capable of beating Iowa State, even though it's at Iowa State. I'm not saying Iowa can win the game, but that 4.5 points, I think this game can stay close. So I'm going to take the Hawkeyes in this game to cover. I don't know if they'll win, but they should be able to cover that spread.
Ooh, G Money has Iowa as well. You getting nervous? I happen to like Iowa State. I think they need to get some. They need to get this game big time to get some votes for in the CFP. So I think Iowa State easily covers that at home. All right, the 101st Holy War plays on Saturday. Utah goes to BYU, home of Steve Young. Utah is a 7-point favorite. Who do you like in the Holy War?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
It is?
I mean, BYU, BYU beat a popcorn team last week, right? Utah actually, who played Arizona last week? Was it Utah that played Arizona?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Or was it Utah that played a popcorn team? BYU played it? I can't remember. But anyways, this is tough. I mean, I was going back and forth. I'm just going to take the points with BYU.
Woo! So you're going BYU. I'm taking Utah. Yeah. They're going to cover easily. They'll score 10.
All right. Okay.
All right, buddy. I like it. We got a very competitive week in college football on the PB&Z Sports Chaos betting show. By the way, fans, 9/11 tomorrow. Hey, by the way, PB, most of those college kids were not even alive 9/11 20 years ago, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, a lot of them. Good point.
And they're going to be seeing a lot of stuff going on. I hope they keep their heads about them. Good luck. Have a great day. PB, nice show. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good, my man.